Hi, everybody. This is Rhonda with the PowerShift. I'm a member of the CPU as well, and I'm a PowerShift coordinator. So, hello. I'm coming to you today because of a few things that are going on in the news right now. And I'm not going to mention any specifics because it's not part of our organization or what we're doing, but I'm going to talk in generality because this is happening more often. And part of it is because our democracy in Canada is so broken and our systems of government in Canada have overstepped so much. And they've done it by little baby steps for decades. We're talking for probably at least 60 years, little baby steps to take away a little bit more to have from us, to give to them, as well as to have kind of how we're taught our government is supposed to operate doesn't really operate that way anymore. And a lot of people are starting to become very shocked by that. So let's start by saying, what's the best way to stop people? What's the best way to stop people from doing what you don't want if you were a government? You throw a couple of them in jail. And that deters the rest from doing anything. Well, it's not working. And they're doubling down. And exactly, fear. Thanks, Lisa. Fear. Fear is what keeps us in check. Fear keeps us compliant. Fear keeps us from having real democracy, because real democracy is not based on fear. Real democracy is based on responsibility. And it's not just one political party that does this, it is all of them. They all do it. You can blame the people that are in power right now, but they all do it. So how do we fix this? How do we fix this? How? Because obviously protesting doesn't fix this. Not at all. Protesting actually exacerbates this. What's a way to fix this? By coming together. We all have to come together. Now, we don't have to all come together under the same actions. We don't have to all come together under the same groups, because there's some groups that are really entrenched with what they're doing, and that's all they want to focus on, and that's all they want to do, and that's perfectly fine. However, the one action that we ask people to do, regardless of what you're entrenched in doing, is signing your convention of consent. And why is that important? I'm just going to read a bit here about our history, about something that happened in our history. Okay, so this is from a speech from the throne in 2008. And this will kind of tell you why we keep saying, watch the actions and not the words, because this was the speech from the throne in 2008. Parliament is Canada's most important national institution. It is the only form in which all Canadians, through their elective representatives, have a voice in the governance of the nation. Parliament should be an expression of our highest ideals and deepest values, our greatest hopes and grandest dreams for the future of our children. Our government believes these ideals can only be achieved if Parliament truly reflects the character and aspirations of the Canadian people. Oh, how far our government has fallen. All of them, provincial, federal, all of them. So the suggestions about, there's been suggestions about giving MPs more independence. They never go beyond the suggestion stage, for a good reason. Our system of parliamentary and responsible government has evolved over centuries. Reforms such as these, introduced piecemeal, could undermine the entire structure. And what's that entire structure? That entire structure is based on Parliament having totalitarian decision-making control over policies, over legislation, over everything that happens in Canada. And they do, and they have forever. There's a key to changing this, and this is what the power shift is about. The key to revitalizing democracy must rest on two foundations, and these are the two foundations of the power shift. One, giving citizens and their leaders a more intimate understanding of one another by bringing the two into closer proximity. Those are citizen committees or citizen groups. And two, providing real evidence the citizens' efforts to affect the system can actually bear fruit. How do we do number two? Action number two. How do we prove the action number two? Because it certainly hasn't been proven since 1867. And continuing to vote differently isn't working anymore. Hasn't worked for decades. So what do? We do what should have happened in 1982, which is we rise up. And by rising up, we unite. We're not talking about a civil war or anything like that. We simply unite in demonstration, in a safe legal demonstration that states we want to claim our right to be the collective head of state. Indigenous people and Canadians, people of Canada together, the collective head of state. Why is that important? That's important because that's the only way our government is going to work with us, is if we are the collective head of state. Because in our Constitution, the government is then bound to recognize us and to work with us and to come to understandings. It's taking policy democracy and putting us into it. It's putting us into our Constitution. We're not in our Constitution. We're not in the law of the land. We are at the mercy of everyone that we elect. And when I say mercy, that's actually quite true now, because they do not listen to the constituents. They only listen to their political parties. They may help constituents if you need help with your immigration papers, if you need help to become a citizen, if you need help with an issue that they are passionate about, they may be able to help you with that. But they do not help you on anything politically based or policy-based policy changes, anything like that. That is seen as a conflict of interest. You are then seen as lobbying them, and they can ignore you from that point on. That's how our governance is based, how it's turned into, how it's been, what was the term here? How it's been undermined over decades. It's time to stop it. And how do we stop that? Sign your Convention of Consent. Sign your Convention of Consent. Sign your Convention of Consent. It is a legal document that unites us all. It unites us all in a way that isn't a petition. It comes under the Privacy Act, which means nothing has to be released. None of your personal information ever has to be released to anybody. Your Convention of Consent is assigned a number, and only those numbers are used to prove that people want this. That's it. Your Convention of Consent. If we are able to do this with enough people across Canada, we don't have to worry about the WEF. We don't have to worry about United Nations. We don't have to worry about any of that, because any decisions that are made on Canada's behalf at those organizations' meetings or assemblies or whatever would have to be voted on by a referendum first. All Canadians would have a voice. We no longer would have to worry about our governments selling us out. We no longer would have to worry about our governments making promises that we end up having to pay for over and over and over again. And when I say we have to pay for, our taxes go up. So that means our wages don't go up, but our taxes go up, which means less disposable income. It's harder and harder. Over 52% of Canadian households right now, citizens and households, are having a hard time making ends meet. They are choosing whether or not to pay the power bill or put food on their table. And it's getting worse. Every month with inflation the way it is now, it gets worse and worse and worse. Soon people are going to be making the decision as to whether or not to pay their power bill or put gas in their car in order to get to work, because they can no longer work from home because their company has said, no, now you must return to work. This is what we're facing at a time when our government itself keeps raising taxes, keeps raising carbon tax, keeps raising everything. Why are they not stepping in and putting injunctions on grocery, the 2 or 3 main grocery companies? There's only 2 or 3 companies in Canada that own all the grocery chains. They are making record billions. They are making record profits at the same time as raising prices like crazy. Why is that? Is that true inflation, or is that opportunity? Our system is so broken. We need to be in it to fix it, or we're going down a path that our children, you don't want to leave for your children. Let's put it that way. So when it comes to working with our government, what do we mean by that? Well, we mean by putting in citizen committees, constituent parliaments, citizen working groups, whatever you want to call them, a group in every riding that is elected by the citizen base of that riding. They have to live in that riding. They have to be a part of that riding. They work in that riding. Well, they may work outside the riding, but they live in that riding. They know the people of the riding. They work in the community, that kind of stuff. That riding votes in one person for every 1,000 people in that riding, or in that riding, however many people are in that riding. That makes up your citizen committee. That citizen committee is responsible for getting each one person is responsible for making sure information gets to the 1,000 people that they're responsible for. And the information is information on the bills that are being passed, information on what's happening in Parliament, information on the committees, information on what's happening in your community. And that goes back and forth. If you have an issue that you want to talk to your constituent or that group about, you bring it up with the person that is your representative on that group. They then bring it to the table and bring it to everybody. And then they bring in the MP, the MLA, the municipal person that you voted in to represent you at municipal government. All of that is dealt with there. It's a discussion that happens. They can have townhouses where the community comes, where the citizen base for that riding comes, and have open discussions, open debates, open everything. And that's how we fix this. Because then Canada becomes for Canadians, for the citizens that work here or live here, for the people that live here, for the Indigenous people that live here, for everybody that lives here, versus 338 people that work for their political parties, and those political parties that work for the people that give them the most money. It tips our structure upside down. It tips the structure so that it shifts the power from the top to us, and it flips everything upside down. It's time to sign your convention of consent. What's happening today with people that are activists being arrested and rearrested and rearrested again wouldn't happen if we had a voice. Wouldn't happen if people understood how to truly legally protest, to legally have peaceful demonstrations. That's what this is about. You cannot go over that line and say, oh, wait a second, no, we really meant for it to be peaceful. That it doesn't work that way. Once you step over that line, you have a problem. And that's what we're seeing. But that's problem. If we were the collective head of state, that problem would easily be fixed. Because in the scheme of things, in the realm of things that are happening in our country today, should that be such a big issue? No. What should be a big issue are the people that are running drugs across our country ad nauseum, the people that are gun running across the country ad nauseum, the people that are, those are the real issues of our country that affect us. That's what we're talking about, is putting us into our Constitution so that we can then hold our governments accountable. We can then stop bad decision making at the root of it instead of having to take our government to court. Do you know how many millions that we pay to take our government to court to fix issues that they created? And we pay for both sides. We pay for the lawyers on both sides of that. How does that make any sense? There's just a lot of things going on that are so broken, and people are afraid and living in fear because of what they're being told. We don't have to live in fear. We can come from a place of power, a place of collaboration, a place of being heard. And it all starts with signing your convention of consent so that we can truly demonstrate we are together. Now, once you've signed your convention of consent, if you want to become a power shifter, that's fantastic. And what a power shifter is somebody that promotes the convention of consent. They promote what we're doing, but they're not a member of the CPU. They just promote what we're doing. They help out when they can. The second step in all of this, or the third step actually, is if you choose to become a CPU member. The Canadian People's Union, the CPU, isn't a labor union. It is a union for our civil and political rights. It is a civil rights union, basically. It is a union for us to be able to unite together and have discussions and figure all of this out, to work together to put information together for the citizen groups, to put information together for everyone across Canada. It's that type of a group, a union. It's a federally registered nonprofit organization whose only main source of income comes from memberships. That's how this works, right? If you're a nonprofit organization that's membership driven, your main source of income comes from your memberships. That's how we operate. We also accept donations because, let's face it, there is a lot that we're doing. There's a lot of research that we've done. There's a lot that we're doing. All of that. Oh, just one second. I just need to. I'm not able to do that here. Okay. Sorry, just saw something in the chat. We are not able to do what we do without the help of everybody across Canada. We are 100% self-funded in the sense of memberships, and then self-funding with what we're able to get through donations. That's it. That's how we're funded. Fourth thing, please, if you cannot make it to Ottawa on July 30th, help to organize a celebration in your community on July 30th. This is important. This is going to be us demonstrating that we are coming together. For the Indigenous and the Canadian people are finally coming together. We are doing for each other what our leaders will not do for us. We are coming together in harmony and respect to begin healing what's gone on in Canada. The other thing is, if you can make it to Ottawa, we really hope to see thousands of people in Ottawa. If you can make it to Ottawa, that's happening on July 30th. July 30th is kind of a special day because we are going to be syncing in virtually with all of the groups across Canada. That's why we want to see groups organizing across Canada. The groups that are organizing across Canada, please contact Richard at thepowershifter.ca. It's an email. The name Richard, Richard, at thepowershifter.ca. He's helping to organize the people that are having a committee, or the groups across Canada. We're hoping to have one in every major city and one in every major town. That's what we would love to see. Doesn't matter if there's 10 or 20 people there. It's all about getting together in celebration that we are going to finally begin to fix Canada, to bring our country out of the trauma that we've been living in for centuries and start on a clear path on the two-row wampum. That's what we're doing. So that's what July 30th is about. July 31st and August 1st, we chose Heritage Day for a weekend because we're bringing our two heritages together finally. And it's not so that one usurps the other, but to come together in collaboration and harmony and respect, and to begin working together, not apart, not pointing fingers at one another, but to begin working together to fix everything that our leaders continue to screw up and continue to leave broken. That's what we're about. It's a celebration. And that, again, Heritage Day weekend in Ottawa, July 30th, 31st, and August 1st. If you have extra funds, please donate to us. With every donation of $25, you get our ebook. Our ebook explains all of this. It explains the background behind this. It is a what's called an interactive ebook. There's videos, there's links to documents, there's links to other websites. There's just a ton of links in the ebook. Again, our research. And we're going to be coming out with ebook part 2 because since we first wrote it, there's even more research that we found and why we're going for a constitutional change in order to place ourselves as the collective head of state. And that constitutional change is happening in the UK. And why is it happening in the UK? Because that UK Parliament is where our Constitution was approved. It's the only place that our Constitution lives, is in the UK Parliament. Our governance is based on our Constitution, but our Constitution was never approved by our own Parliament. It was approved in the UK Parliament. So sign your Convention of Consent, get involved, donate, become a CPU member. This is really important that we start standing strong and that we start growing. If you're not sure what type of a group to join, if you're not sure what type of an action that you want to be a part of, please make it this one. This is one that is legal, it is safe, it is 100% non-partisan. We don't choose a political party to support. We are 100% non-partisan or partisan, or however that word is pronounced. We don't follow or appeal to anyone that's elected because we need to do this ourselves. No one elected can make the change inside the House of Commons for us. No one elected can make the change to our Constitution for us. It has to be us. The voice of the people has to finally rise up. This has been stated several times in our history, that it's up to the people. This is the way we're demonstrating this. And that's what we're about. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to read here. There's a few good... This is a good point. Thanks, Sandra. If you are organizing a local group and you are on Facebook, like by organizing, I mean if you're going to be the contact person that we can use that is going to be holding your phone and videoing with us that day, that's pretty much the extent of organizing and getting word out in your community. That's pretty much it. Make signs, do that if you want. We have 2 Facebook groups. One is English and one is French, and you will find them. You'll find them on Facebook. The English one is PowerShift to Freedom, and the French one is Le PowerShift. Those are the first words of both names. So in both of those, if you are French and only speak French or are bilingual and are in Quebec, please post there what you're doing and that you're looking for people to help. Likewise, for all of the English speaking Canada, use our Facebook group, our PowerShift to Freedom, to let people know that you're organizing in your area and that you know, if you want help, if you want it to be a huge event or whatever. If there's permits to be taken out, understand that permits often don't cost any money. You just need to get a permit. So double check to make sure that you're not skirting any legality or anything. Usually if you stay on public streets and stuff like that, you don't need a permit. But if you go into a park, if you're going to stay strictly in front of your legislature, often you don't need a permit. In some places you do. So just check into that if you are looking to organize it. And again, Richard can help you with that. We can help you. So you're not all on your own. So please let us know. And again, use what we've set up. We've set up if you're not on Facebook, we've set up a forum section on our website. We have a website forum. We've set up a Dare to Dream forum section where you can also post there, looking for help, looking for information, all of that stuff. So please utilize the resources that we have out there to help you. There are handouts. There's PowerShift handouts. There's just a lot that's on our website. If you're not truly sure what we're about, also check out our website. All of the information is there. It's just, you just need to read it. That's all. So again, I came on today to talk about why we don't have, why do our governments keep delaying democracy? What is this really about? Well, our governments keep delaying democracy because as long as they control everything, they can run things tickety-boo, and we really have no choice. We really have no say, as we've found out over these last 2 years. We can appeal to the government all we want, but if they choose not to listen to us, there's nothing we can do right now. And this is going to change that. This is going to ensure that for the first time in our history, the people can do something without the government's approval first. We can call referendums. We can do things if we are the head of state. We can put things, and it's not that simple. It sounds simple. The first step is simple, but after that, there's a hell of a lot of hard work because we have to put in place systems that allow us to navigate working with our government for the first time in our history. Now, when our Constitution was changed or added to in 1982, the government sort of put, they took 5 years to roll that out all across Canada. So in that 5 years, there were no real policy changes. There were no real legislature changes. They focused on rolling out the Constitution all across Canada. The same thing will happen for this. We can put injunctions in place to stop government decisions for a period of time on those things that don't need to be dealt with immediately to keep our country running. Our system of governance, as far as our public servants go, as far as, the CRA and the EI and, all of the different government departments, those are going to keep running no matter what. Those aren't going to be affected by any of this. It's just getting us to be as the head of state so that we can stop legislation and decisions that aren't in our best interest. In fact, if we're able to get enough people involved and get this done and get enough donations to truly get this done, because we're paying legal teams in both countries right now, both Canada and the UK. If you are a civil servant working for any level of government, this is probably going to help you, because for the first time, you're going to be truly heard. You're going to be able to bring change inside your government department that you've probably been asking for decades, that keeps getting shuffled to the side. All of that, you're going to be heard. This gives you the power to improve your workplace, to improve how your department runs, to improve the services you provide to the citizens and the people of Canada. All of us. Likewise, Indigenous people. This gives you a chance to fix what's broken about your own governance in a way that you are heard. That it's not just up to, again, those few people at the top. You are heard. And together, again, we all fix this. I personally would love to see the Indigenous government be an integral part of our existing parliament. Why are they separate? They shouldn't be separate. They should be in Parliament. They should be in the House of Commons making decisions. They should have senators. Now, our existing Westminster style of governance is a colonial style of governance. All we need to do to decolonize, however, is to become our collective head of state, and that completely decolonizes us. And then the positions that answered only to the Crown, or in this case, the Prime Minister and the Queen's Privy Council, because those are really the two positions that are the Crown of Canada. The Crown, those positions then answer to the collective head of state. So the Governor General, the Prime Minister, the Queen's Privy Council, the senators. Well, the senators sort of don't answer to, they're kind of like the second sober thought, but the senators could be elected instead of partisan appointments. That's what we're getting at, is democracy taking the corruption of political handshakes and all the political deals that go on behind the scenes out of the picture, and again making things honest and above board and for the greater good of Canada and its people, instead of the greater good of making money for yourself. That's what we're removing. And people aren't going to like this. They're not, because they're not going to want their cash cow to go away. And will it go away completely? Well, no, but it'll be brought down to an honest level. Now I'm just... The other thing, yeah, people are saying, yeah, that, they'll never answer, they'll never reply, they'll never do, the government will not listen. The government will have to listen. Once we're the collective head of state, they will have no choice. And they don't get a choice as to whether or not we're the collective head of state. That's up to us. So if you truly, truly want this, you sign your convention of consent, help out, donate, become a member. We need to be hundreds of thousands strong in members. And we're not. We're gaining members every day, but we're not gaining enough in order to be successful at this across Canada as far as rolling out the constituents parliaments, that second step. We're already working on that second step, and we need people for that. So please, if you can join the Canadian People's Union, if you please do so. If you are able to donate, please do so. It doesn't matter how much or how little. Anything helps. If we could, we would run a GoFundMe and say, like, seriously, folks, if we had the money that some groups have had, this would have been a done deal months ago. months ago, and if not years ago. But we have, again, we don't advertise. We don't take out paid advertising. We don't take out anything that isn't necessary. So because we are running on a shoestring. So please donate, help us out, help yourself out, help your future generations out, so that we can ensure this is done, so that we can ensure that when those citizen committees are ready to go, and I keep calling them citizen committees, but we really don't know what they're going to be called, because that's up to everybody to decide. For now, I'm going to call them citizen committees. But there's going to have to be funding for those citizen committees. Once we're the collective head of state, guess who funds that? We get to go, it gets to be part of our governance. Like every riding across Canada gets government funding. Do people not realize this? Like every riding association across Canada gets a certain amount of government funding. These would operate like the riding associations, except they would be actually for everybody in the riding, not just those that are card carrying party members. That's what this is about. Okay, I think I've gone on long enough. Yeah, I've gone on for about 35 minutes. And in the description of the video, I've put all of the steps to make sure you take. And yeah, we are just so grateful to be working with everybody. We are so grateful for every donation that comes in. We are so grateful for every member that joins. And we are even more grateful for everybody that signs their convention of consent, because that is truly what gets us to the end game. All of it, donations, memberships, signing your convention of consent. Okay? Have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll be talking about another topic. This topic of our true democracy, or our why our democracy is so broken, isn't done yet. This is just the tip of the iceberg. So every Wednesday, I'll be talking on a subject around this topic. Okay? Have a great day.